All right, now to the Middle East. Secretary of State Marco Rubio traveling there today to talk with the Gulf allies on Iran. This comes as the U.S. is now allowing Iran to sell its oil in U.S. dollars. It's the first time in more than 4 decades. Anchor and White House correspondent Aishah Hasnie joins us now with more. Aishah?
Hey, Will, the president is currently still in battleground Pennsylvania. He is trying to shift the focus over to affordability, the economy, but the economy is inextricably linked to this Iran conflict and the success of his deal with Iran. Today, the president has been touting that 19 million barrels of oil flowed through the Strait of Hormuz yesterday. That's about as much as was flowing before the Iran conflict began. The average price of unleaded is now under $4 a gallon nationwide. The president also told PBS today Americans should support a reported $80 billion supplemental for the war because Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, he said. The Iranians, though, continue threatening to upend these fragile talks. Iran's president announcing today in Pakistan that Iran will never discuss its missiles program. The Iranians also claim they did not agree to let the UN inspectors into their country to look at their nuclear facilities. The president personally swatting that down today. Watch.
They're wrong. They're wrong. They're wrong. They know they're wrong. They told us inside, and we have it down 100% inspections. And if they were right, I'd cancel the meetings right now.
And, Will, as you mentioned, Secretary of State Marco Rubio arriving in the Middle East today to sell this deal to Gulf allies that might still have concerns over that big reconstruction program that is supposed to be a part of this memorandum. He also had a phone call with Lebanon's president as Israel and Lebanon talks get underway here in Washington, even as Israel and Hezbollah continue exchanging fire. Listen to this.
You can't have the end of hostilities and conflicts in the region as long as Iranian proxies are launching missiles and drones from Iraq and are participating in terrorism like Hamas did and like Hezbollah did. So I do think it's covered by the MOU, and it is an issue that will be gotten to at the appropriate time in these negotiations.
Meanwhile, Will, listen to this. New chilling details coming from one of those pilots who was stranded in Iran earlier this year around Easter time. CNN is reporting that pilot says he saw multiple drones, Iranian drones, moving together in unison, almost creating a jellyfish kind of a formation. Very scary situation there. If true, that would indicate that Iran has advanced its military drones program. In the meantime, back here in Washington, Will, the president, of course, still facing some criticism on Capitol Hill for this Iran deal, including from his own members of his own party. And the Democrats today took advantage of that. They put the House's war powers resolution on the floor today. It did pass 50 to 48. Among the GOP yeses were Cassidy, Collins, Paul, and Murkowski. John Fetterman, the Democrat, voted no, actually. Senator Mitch McConnell and Dave McCormick were not present to vote. Of course, McCormick was in Pennsylvania with the president, so those numbers really favor the Democrats in passing this. It does not go to the president's desk. It is just a symbolic vote, but it is a rebuke of the president's authorities on the Iran war.
All right, information-packed report. Thank you, Aishah.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.